It has been quite some time since I have seen you guys. Oh man, it's so good to be here and so good to be live with you. So first off, let's start with an apology because I'm a little late, but I just got some excellent news. It made my day. It made me cry. It made me happy. So it took me a little while. It took me a little while to come on, but I'm super hyped and super excited because it's the holidays. Now, I know that a lot of times during the holidays, it can be a festive time for some, but for others who may deal with mental illness, who may deal with depression or bipolar disorder or anxiety or panic attacks, because of this particular time of year, those anxieties and those emotions can run rampant. So I just wanted to come on and help you all and give you five ways. I just want to give you 5 ways to beat the holiday blues. I want it to be as helpful to you as it has been to me. So we'll start with tip number 1. Feel your feelings. Okay? The only way out is through. A lot of times we like to suppress those sad feelings. We like to disregard those feelings. We like to look past those feelings. But a lot of times those feelings are there and they are meant to be felt. And the more you suppress them, the tougher it is to break through those particular feelings of sadness. Say, for instance, you lost someone very close to you during this holiday season, and every time this year, around about the anniversary of their passing, it gets difficult to celebrate things that were once something that you shared with that loved one. So you have to allow yourself time to feel those feelings. Okay? You can't get past something that you're not willing to address. You can't move forward if you're not willing to face it head on. So we don't want to look at those things, and it's uncomfortable to look at those things at times, but it's so necessary for your mental health and your mental wellness to face those fears and feel those feelings. So that's tip number 1. Okay. Tip number 2 is going to be opening up to others. And this will kind of tie into tip number 1, because you don't have to face this alone. This isn't something that you have to endure all by yourself. If there's someone that you trust that's close to you, latch onto that person and let them know how you feel. Let them know that you're experiencing some sadness right now, that you're not really feeling all that holly and jolly, or you're not feeling that chipper. But the important thing is to let others know how you feel. Don't be afraid to let other people in so that they can help you too. Tip number 3, meditate or pray to quiet those negative thoughts. Whew. And this one is very personal for me because I think a lot. And sometimes those thoughts aren't always positive. They can be negative. And I'm just being honest. I'm just being real. But what's important is that instead of feeding the negativity and giving into those negative feelings, those negative thoughts, ask God to help you through those. Meditate on the positive things so it drowns out all the negative things. And if you're not religious, or you don't really care for meditation or quiet time, what I would suggest and what has been instrumental to a lot of my recovery is journaling. Journaling, just writing out those thoughts, because sometimes there are so many thoughts running through your mind and you don't have time to work through them all at once. So writing them down really helps to just get the stuff out. Journaling has always helped me to release those thoughts, whether they be good or bad. It's a lot easier to quell negative thoughts once they're written down on paper, because you can actually see all these words and all these things that you thought. And then once you start processing it, start going over these negative things, you're just like, why was I thinking that? Why was I writing that? I have so much to be thankful for. Or, maybe I should look at it a little bit differently. So journaling always helps. It helps you process your thoughts. It helps you get all that stuff out, whether it be positive, whether it be negative. Just dedicate 10 minutes, 5 minutes to just writing down some of those thoughts. So that's step number 3. Meditate, prayer, to just quiet some of those negative thoughts. Tip number 4, start a new holiday tradition. Instead of focusing on what once was. And I know that this one is going to hit home for a lot of people who, may have lost a loved one, or maybe have experienced a really, really difficult time during the holiday season. We put so much pressure on ourselves to keep up with tradition and to go see the lights and put up the Christmas tree. And these things may be trivial to some people, but for people who face mental illness, those little things can get so big sometimes. And sometimes people don't understand that. So what you can do is start a new holiday tradition, so that you're not constantly overwhelming yourself with what you used to do back when, and then dredging up all those negative feelings and all those old emotions that you've constantly rehearsed. So, for instance, this year, instead of going to see a tree lighting ceremony, my family decided to go to a time of science. And they had all kinds of scientific and fun games for kids. They had story time. They had literal reindeer games. We were able to see Santa. Just cute little things, and things that aren't your average or usual. So if you and someone you loved and lost, who is no longer here with you presently or physically, if you guys used to always go see the lights, and now every time you see the lights or ride down the highway and, you're seeing lights and it starts to make you sad, go see a movie. Go do something new to counter those feelings. Because we have to be proactive in our feelings. Helpful tip number 5. And this is the last one. Is going to be try light therapy to counter gray weather. So, a lot of times during this time of year, it gets really gray outside and it gets really dark fast. And a lot of people have what they call, it's like a seasonal adverse reaction disorder. And I think they literally call it SAD, which is really, really interesting. So I did a little research on what light therapy was, and it's literally where you go to a therapist, or you can actually purchase these lights online. But what the light does is it emulates beams that are similar to sunlight. And it helps with endorphins, and it helps you feel good, and it brings about this warm, fuzzy feeling to kind of counterbalance some of the gray yuckiness outside, or that we normally see outside during this time of year. It's so funny how nature has an effect on how we think and how we feel. When it's gloomy and gray outside, you don't want to go to work, you don't want to get up, you don't want to do anything. But when it's sunny outside, it just brings about a warmth and a brightness in you. So instead of if therapy is not the route you want to go, I totally get it. It takes a long time to get to that place of wanting to actually seek therapy. But if we just look at the light a little bit differently, it'll still work. So instead of trying a specific light therapy, what you can do is get around lights that are shining in people that you love, people that are constantly glowing, people that are constantly boosting your feel good. And those people are lights. You guys are lights. And the light that shines on the inside of you could have such a positive effect on somebody else. So help someone else this holiday season. Be a light to them so that they can beat the holiday blues. Alright, I love you guys. I see you. I hear you. I love you. Take care.